Alex, don't leave the term without two Chinese rock and roll songs.
Okay.
Then Ben can practice them till June.
Stanley will be the singer.
They have to be real rock and roll, okay? But Chinese, and preferably Taiwanese.
Singapore will be first. It's no Taiwan
Preferably Taiwanese.
first.
We can try them out in Singapore.
Is there any
Singapore will be
Is
first.
there any Singaporean rock bands?
They're not allowed.
Yeah.
西不基就心的头疼，你那必须面对天巴地，桑叶心度你得无二意，这个难的心啊这把手，一nam guru ratna mandala kamya tayami. Chudon Toki Chonama Chanchu Bardu Dagni Kapsuchi Daki Chenyen Gibe Sanamki Rola Shenchir Sangye Drupar Sho Chudon Toki Chonama Chanchu Bardu Dagni Kapsuchi Daki Chunyen Gipe Sanam Ki Drola Penchir Sangye Drupar Sho Chudan Toki Chonam La Chanchu Pardu Dagni Kapsuchi Daki Chunyen Gipe Sanam Ki Drola Penchir Sangye Drupar Sho Smokity dogity.
Holy moly.
Okay, kill him, kill him.
Okay, so remember we're in this text about Chindy Lama's written at the end of his life about the meditations you have to do on emptiness so that you can get out of the cycle of suffering. And we have gone through the lower schools and we're now in the section of the consequence group of the middle way school. We're in the cool stuff. And he's been spending a lot of time on Chik-tu-drel, the logic of one or many to prove the lack of self-nature to people.
Mm.
And now we're into the lack of a self-nature to things, and Chik-tu-drel again applies. So he said, I already talked about Chik-tu-drel earlier. So, you know about this, but let me give you some more details about Chik-tu-drel. And we're getting into some really cool stuff about Chik-tu-drel.
Can you define that again? English.
One or many.
One or more than one.
Or uses it actually, which I think helps us tie into Adam's text.
One or separate.
Is it one or separate?
Yeah.
Mmm.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's a nice thought.
Yeah.
That is a difficulty. You guys are getting very sophisticated.
So, I know that we like Word and Ben got this.
We'll see.
Generally speaking, what is the thing to be denied, and then
Okay.
what are two specific kinds
Oh, that one.
of that
The
thing?
gotcha.
And we're gonna do English and Tibetan. English first, please.
I'm gonna answer just because you said you didn't say mine. There's the things that are denied by the path, and then there's
What?
the
Well, let's just go slowly. General English and then Tibetan, and then the specific ones.
Slow down there, General.
yeah. There's
I know you're
there's
on
the two different kinds of things that you can deny. Yeah, and then the things which you get rid of that are blocking you from seeing.
So what emptiness is empty of, that's the gotcha. And then we have two specific gotchas.
Oh, I see. I didn't see how you phrased it, so you structured the answer. Sorry.
Yeah.
There's you get rid of the idea that things have their own nature. The fake up, or you get rid of the idea. What about that? You deny
So
it.
these are types, so not specifically what it, right?
Okay. So there's the kind of thing that is the thing that's blocking you from,
The things you deny by,
oh, logic?
yes,
Okay. Things you deny
the
by
things you
the
deny by
path.
logic, analysis, and what's the Tibetan for that?
Riktigakcha.
Ricky.
I,
Really?
it's
What's
Rikve.
the top?
It's
Rikve
Rikve.
gotcha.
I thought it was Riktig.
No, in our text it's,
He says Rikki Gotcha.
he says Taki Gotcha.
Oh, Daki Gotcha.
Rick the gotcha.
And then,
Traditionally,
last
yeah,
one
that's
you
what I'm
said?
saying. That's,
Oh,
but I
oh,
guess
okay,
the
yeah, he
text
did, yeah,
says-
you're right.
Does the text say Daki Gotcha? Would it
Ricky,
mean the same
Ricky.
thing?
Yeah,
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
I take it the same,
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Neat.
so
Okay.
as Anatole said, it's the thing that you stop during the path. And what's the Tibetan for that?
Lamkigakcha.
Lam.
Takigakcha.
It is interesting.
Oh, sure, why not?
It's
I
an-
like that.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so, and then he gets into using the same, we're using Chikudel, the analysis of one of many, to go a little bit deeper. And he starts talking about how it is that things appear to us, how it is we experience things. And he went through 3 parts in one of the sentences. And let's do English and Tibetan. So number 1, English, and then it's Tibetan. Number 2, English, and it's Tibetan. Number 3, English, and it's Tibetan. First part. A little bit more than just parts. A little bit more detail than just
Shapes and colors.
a little more detail than shapes.
Parts
and
before they get the picture.
Hey.
An object before it's labeled.
Okay.
And what's the Tibetan for that?
Dakshi.
Boy, that's
Oh,
Very good.
Yeah, nice.
Dakshi.
Okay, what's
Yeah,
the next?
technically that can't be an existing thing.
The label.
Nope.
The labeling.
Thank you. The process of applying a label. And what's that in Tibetan?
Doke or doke or dot.
Talk
Yeah.
in the book.
Talk, talk.
Doc. The doc.
And then what's the third thing word?
The label.
Labeled thing.
The label thing.
USDA
Grade A.
grade A choice.
And what's that in Tibetan?
Doc.
Dakchu.
Talk to.
Should. Huh.
Very good. So, following on that whole labeling thing, he was just setting us up for giving us the first of 2 zingers. I didn't put both zingers in the quiz. So the first of 2 zingers in our last class.
Zinger, what's a zinger?
Oh, a zinger, something that like makes you go, whoa.
Yeah, you know,
I was thinking
doozy.
that. Whoa.
Surprise.
It's a singer.
It's like an electric
Think
shock
booyah.
into your.
I don't remember which of the 2 the one I'm thinking
Well,
of
it's
is,
kind
but
of very closely related to this process we just talked about.
okay, in that case, it's thinking that
English
the
and then Tibetan.
labeled thing and the thing that you label are the same thing.
Yeah, the thing before it gets labeled and the labeled thing appear to us to be
And now for the Tibetan, I will bow out.
and now the Tibetan things. Huh?
Whoa. Well, it's going to be some longer mess.
No, but that's certainly part of it. That's the last 3 syllables. So remember we went through we named them earlier.
Dakshi.
Yeah? Tom.
Dong.
Yeah, Dakshi, Dakshu.
Yeah. And then there's one more word that comes before the.
Yeah, Miche or something like that, or
Well, that,
Miche?
you check that's the last 3, and there's something that comes right before
Yi?
Me, Chepa,
the
they
thing
ain't
before
different.
gets the label and the thing that's labeled both.
Oh, the Dakcha.
Those are considered independent.
Cool.
Those 2.
Yay!
What-
Quack quack.
Thank you for.
Wait, what does it mean?
Second
Well, what it
singer.
means is, those are two different ducks. But if you were to see, like, one of them, you think they were the same one, but there's really another one that looks just like it.
Yeah,
I
and
don't know, that's
plus
the closest I could come
the
to.
right one has the left leg and the left one has the right leg.
No, no, they're the same
They
one.
both have the right legs.
Yeah, they both have the right leg.
But if you saw them from a certain angle, you'd think it's
It
one
looks-
side.
it
It's
looks-
one leg.
Anyway,
They must be brothers.
Siamese duckling.
They were separated by a very talented doctor.
you take the plane.
Second zinger.
Oh, the second zinger. Pigs can fly.
Holy moly.
Function.
Okay, we stop here. Just as a review, which is probably what Venerable Upala just did, but I just for, just to go through it one more time. These are the important words to know in this process of the picture coming out of the mental seed onto the pieces and making a car, the pieces of car into a car. So these are the traditional words that are helpful to know. And because they employ different tenses of the same verb, they're confusing. Okay? So this means you can say collection of parts ready to receive a label. And in DCI language, we call it luminous image. Coming. Yeah, label. Yeah, label.
So what form of the verb is that, Doc? Is
Label
it
equals a luminous. Yeah, dakjechu. This is coming out of a karmic seed. Okay, because you shared your pens in the past, you have a karmic seed that opens and a pen picture comes out to the pieces of the pen, the top and the bottom of the pen. And so that's the thing before the picture comes out. It's saying, send me a picture, send me a picture. Okay? The pieces before they get organized into a whole, before they get their label. And be careful that in middle way philosophy, the picture is called a name. And that's very misleading. It's not a name. Or you can say names are on a primitive level pictures.
It's called a term.
Yeah.
Mingde Shaksam, or labeled with names and terms. Term is worse. But in DCI, if you're really teaching people to use these concepts in their everyday life, the fact that things are creations of names doesn't help them. That's some kind of mind-only thing that you could have called it something else. That doesn't really help them. The point is pictures coming out of the mind. And the point is karmic seeds from which those pictures emerge. And to say everything exists in name only is not so helpful. That's like saying you could have called it a pig, but it's a rose, and and that doesn't really help anybody. It's true, but it doesn't really help people. It doesn't make them want to be a good person. Yeah, same thing. Yeah. Okay, now Dokje is the state of mind. Applying that label, which equals
the late blur.
which sends out the picture, the image, to the parts.
Did you use a different word for doke in the homework just now?
Yeah. It was.
Yeah, and useful colloquial is. Useful colloquial term in the study of this verb and this concept.
Takmaju?
to pay tax on?
Oh man.
I just don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I should have bet money. Mingdo.
Bingo.
Oh, nickname?
Bingo.
Stick a name tag on.
Let me make sure how to spell it. Yeah, that's correct.
So,
Yeah. Yeah, Mingdok means equals nickname. Nickname in modern Tibetan. And it means name
the name they call it.
just stuck on to somebody. Okay. So the dog means is stuck on. Okay. And what's dakche?
Label
The
thing.
result of the labeling process.
The labeled object,
An existing thing.
or labeled
Okay.
Mhm.
And so dok is okie dokie present tense.
Mhm. Thank you. This is
Dak is future tense to be labeled. Right? Labeling state of mind. Okay. And dak equals what? Past tense.
yeah.
Finished being labeled.
As you said, and I've never fully wrapped my mind around it, but are there like some kind of like vague rules about the way that tenses work with verbs? Like,
There are some guidelines, but they're not that helpful.
yeah, right.
And as Tibetan language evolved, people got lazy and stopped using the tenses very much. So a lot of verbs only have one spelling. Did do it, will do it, is doing it are all spelled the same. Like chipa. Well, no, that's not a good example. But in Sanskrit, extremely strict about like 64 verb tenses, and you cannot mess with it. And learning Sanskrit is simply an act of memorization. You know, we just memorized for 5 years. The teacher would say memorize this page, and that was the homework. And you know, so anyway. And then you memorize it and you forget it because you went on the next one. And, you know. Okay, anyway, there you go. That might help. Okay.
Could we go back up one? Yeah, and so I get the concept of what you're saying, but how to translate these words.
Which one?
中短期dakshi dokmin
Yeah. All the things that exist in the universe, which is how I like to say it. Can only be established relative to some other set collection of parts to receive a name which is not by itself an object yet, or something like that. Rangdok is difficult here, but which is not by itself yet an object. The pieces of the car are Dakshi Rangdok. Mimba, okay? They're not a car. So when you're struggling with the expression Dakshi Rangdok Mimba,
Yeah.
and that's a very struggleable expression. Okay, and Dakshi would be easy. You know, the collection of the parts down here, right? Dakshi. That's all the parts of the car together. Okay, so that's not so hard, but
something like because everything in the universe is not the basis to be labeled in and of itself, rather they are established in relationship to other things.
you can never have a sentence in this translation mixed nuts group that says everything is not. You have to say nothing is. That's English. That's just English. Okay, so nothing in the universe is such that, you know, Oh, everything. Well, here it is everything. Everything in the universe can only.
Couldn't do that.
No, I didn't get there yet. Everything in the universe must be established on the basis of a collection of parts, which is not itself the thing yet. That's what Rangdo Mimba means. Okay? It's not the finished object itself yet. Rangdo Mimba. That's all. You know. Is the whole a collection of its parts? No, not in Buddhism, until you think of it that way. Or you can make a joke, you can be cute and say that's the final part. And you can't think of it that way unless you gave away pens before. You won't be able to think of it that way. If you didn't give away pens before, you will think of it as a chutoi. Okay, if you gave away chewing gum before. Okay. Got it? So it's not a big deal. I mean, it takes like 20 years to figure it out, and then after you figure it out, it takes 20 seconds to say it. A thing is not all of its parts together until a karmic seed opens in your mind and a picture comes out to glue it all together. And then it's a thing. But if you don't have that karmic seed, you can stare at the parts of a pen forever and you will never see a pen. And that's why we don't see tantric deities around us. Because we're not good enough. We don't have the seeds. They're there, or the parts are there, but we don't have the picture. Okay. Cool? So the Rangdo Mimba, by the way, is totally off the wall. I don't never saw anybody say that. I personally, if I was going to translate it, I'd say something like, which is not yet the finished object, or something like that. Not yet the thing itself. Okay, I would say yet. Okay, it's a difficult sentence. It doesn't refer to the opposite of all that it's not, which is normally the meaning of do. Okay, that's not the point. Or you can say it's not the archetype or something, but it doesn't really help the listener, the reader. It's better to say it's not what it is yet, because the picture hasn't been applied yet. It's the parts laying on the floor. Well, in Buddhism it's more subtle. It's not just the parts of the car laying on the floor spread out. It's all the parts glued together. And it's still not a car yet. Because the last part hasn't been applied yet, which is your karmic picture. And you can put all the parts of a car together and a bug still won't see a car. Okay, that's all. They don't have that picture because they didn't give people rides. And boy, if you teach it that way, all of the gencher, all of the scriptures gencher,
Come naked.
they like tear off their shirt for you and they say, look at me. If you understand what I just said, you can read anything. You can understand anything, And most people never get there. They're like confusing students with, the whole is not the parts, and the students are, well, what are you talking about? And they don't know what they're talking about. They're just repeating something, Okay? Yeah. The whole is not the parts until the label comes out, which is created by being nice to others. And you have to add that or you don't know what you're talking about. Okay? All right, or it's just kind of insufficient information. It doesn't make sense, which is why it sounds mystical. We studied the first book I ever studied was a very bad translation of Gampopa. And boy, we were like, whoa. You can't understand a single sentence and say, this must be, this is God talking. It was just a bad translation. Okay, all right, here we go. Yeah, translated, first word, everything in the universe, which is how I like Chitamje nowadays. It's one choice. You don't have to use it, but you can say all existing things. Everything in the universe is Tenjung. Yeah, it arises through dependence in the sense that it depends on other parts which together equal the thing to be labeled. Okay? It depends on other parts, which together we call dakshi. The thing which is he's asking, please give me a label. Could you please give me a picture? I want to be a thing. Right now I'm just a bunch of parts glued together. Please give me a label. Which means please give me a picture. Which means please have been nice to someone last week, please. Okay, got it? And this recalls the brilliant treatment of dependence by Pabonka Rinpoche in his commentary to the Three Principal Paths for $50. This should remind you of the brilliant treatment of dependent origination in ACI 1. Okay.
If you confuse the way that dependence plays, if you confuse the way that emptiness plays in cause and effect.
And by the way, that
Yeah.
no, you're too
It's a
complicated.
4-part statement, right?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Yay! Okay, I'll tell it to you. You can give it to me. 3 kinds of dependence described by Pabonka Rinpoche.
Functionless parts.
Depend upon its causes.
Parts.
Yeah.
What are they?
Parts is the second.
Wait, what's the first one?
Causes and conditions.
3 interpretations by different schools of what dependence means. And give me a sentence that has the verb depends on in it.
Things depend on causes and conditions.
Things depend on their causes and conditions. Then?
Parts.
Things depend on their parts.
Things depend on their parts. Why is this superior to this?
It includes
Because
the
it's
changes.
close.
This covers unchanging things.
Uncaused things happen.
And what's the third one?
Things depend on a label upon a basis of labels.
Yeah, or things depend on their names or the picturing. Okay, good. Yeah.
Yes.
By the way, that's the clearest I've ever seen it anywhere.
Yes.
In thousands of books, that's the best. And it's just kind of a, modest commentary on the Three Principal Paths. But I've never seen anyone say it that clearly.
Well, and you said labeled on a basis of labels, which is like,
Sure.
I don't know, it's rad.
That was a couple centuries
It's
ago.
pretty badass.
Okay, here we go.
Just saying.
Okay, so here which one of the 3 is he talking about?
Third one.
Well, he kind of mixes them because chashe means parts
Swatantrika.
and dakshi means the thing to get the name, okay, or the picture. He kind of mixes them. But I'd say 3. Yeah, okay. Daicha Chin. After all, we are in which section? Yeah, okay, go. Okay, go.
Gosh.
What?
Oh, just a vocab question then. So does the Swatantrika call it Dakshi as well?
No,
They don't.
No.
Okay.
not normally.
Okay, thank you.
There may be some weirdo guy, like somebody I know.
You know a lot of weirdos.
So, Sokie she moon nangwa tar pade tuwa tute rangi dakshi la tune dupechu.
By the way, Heather said that she had never sat in a group of such talented people in her life. And I think she was sincere about it. And she's talented. I thought it was pretty cool.
No one knows how to go around a room and talk everyone up like you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was impressed.
Yeah. Well, you are impressive and you don't understand. You don't see how cool you are. I see how cool you are, but I think you don't see how cool you are. Okay. Daijichin, Soke Shengor, to the perceptions,
The perceptions of an ordinary person
yeah, as it appears.
as it appears
Tade,
separate.
yeah, as if they were separate things. What separate things?
What's going on? What are we trying to convince someone of?
So,
What are the
so
separate
last
things he's
one-
talking about?
Yeah, the thing to be labeled on the.
It doesn't exist the way it appears, that there are 2 separate things.
The Chashe and the Dakshi.
What was the first one? Oh, the chakshi and the dakshi?
Yeah.
How about the collection of chashis and the dakshi?
No,
No, because the collection of chashis is the
They are
dakshi.
separate
I think it's what she's saying.
It's the Daksha, the Dakshi and the Daksha. The thing to be.
Oh, okay, good. You're right. Okay, which is number 3 and number. Oh, say number 1 and number
Right,
3
to
here.
ordinary beings, they don't.
It looks like they're the same thing.
Yeah, they're not Duma.
And he said that, right? Okay, got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Arangidashi latune dupecher, because it exists in dependence upon its. And the day that Sugen gets tune dupa correct,
We all got
we're gonna have a party. What is tune dupa, Sugen?
Is it a dependent? Depending?
It's almost a definition of dependent origination. Okay, to dupe. So take out the ne. Here it is, spelled for you. So you're gonna remember it now. To say to dupe.
Tuju.
It's the rough definition of dependent origination. Yeah, those things which occur in reliance. He just used a different word for dependence. So tudrup is often given as the brief definition of tenjung, which is tenjing delwa chungo. Okay, pratitya samutpada. Okay, tunedupa.
Definition that's shorter than the word.
Yeah, ragidashila. Okay, good.
Did we get it?
It is a creation which comes about through reliance on the collection of parts which are to receive the picture, which are waiting to get a picture, which are begging for a picture from you. Please give people rides so I can give you a Tesla. Right, Stanley? The parts are talking to you. The parts of the car are talking to Stanley and saying, please give more people rides because I want to be a Tesla for you.
It is like
Okay.
cars do that, right? When you come across something you don't know what it is, it's like,
Yeah.
I need a label.
No, it's like someone is talking to you. You're like in India and no one speaks English. And you just ask people, where can I get food? And they're like, blah, 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 blah. And you're dying to understand, but you can't. So the parts of Stanley's Tesla are talking to him already. And please give people rides so you can have a picture to turn us into a Tesla.
What was the tell that we just proved?
Where's the tell?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I don't know. We just said cheer.
It went way back up. This is
Oh, it's right here. It's day. That's all. This is the drup chichen.
Okay.
This is the chichen.
So how did
This
what
is
did,
the drup talk.
what did we just prove? Did that prove that ordinary beings?
He's trying to prove his last statement, that dependent origination means that things are created through dependence on a collection of parts,
Because-
waiting for a name, waiting for a picture, okay? And then we say, I disagree, and he says, yes, it is true, because the problem is that people mistake the finished car, people mistake the parts together for the finished car. People mistake the parts together waiting for a picture to be a finished car. Okay.
So
People who don't know the scoop, which is called soke.
what's the Todd day doing that? They're seeking different things for.
We just went through it, but the finished here, number 3 is not, and number 1 are different. The finished Tesla, after it got its name.
It was a different one.
Yeah. Okay. By the way, this should come back here. Okay. Okay. Good. Okay.
Kyapte,
Where are we?
kyapte.
Here.
Yeah.
Oh.
Kyapte, no what? Tarte, hade drup, rangitakshi la natu par drupu bechu.
Yeah, things wouldn't have to depend on the collection of their parts waiting for a picture from a karmic seed if they existed the way they seem to, in the sense that the parts before they get the picture from the karmic seeds seem to be the parts after they got the picture from the karmic seed. And that's why it's useful to have a text like Adams, which allows you to sustain an idea in your mind for about 30 seconds. Okay, all right. I'm not going to repeat it because I don't think I can. Okay, go.
Shenyang, so kie wong poi shepala su tra so nang su parma du bartel. They more kun so kichinang nang wat parma du beju.
Yeah, and you're going to wrestle with the nangwa because there's two flavors, right? One is how the cup appears, and one is the aspect that the mind takes when it looks at the cup. Which one is it here? We got to think about it. Soke wangbu shepala.
So to the appearing to the sense power.
It's consciousness.
I'm sorry, consciousness is to the mind of the person who has not yet seen or
Yeah,
transferred.
I believe he's kind of hitting on the point that your eye, your ear, your nose are corrupt.
Yeah.
They are already diseased. They have something in them that's not going to let them work right. The equipment is faulty from the factory. Okay, the equipment is messed up from the factory. Okay, when you were born, they gave you telescopes with stars painted on the glass. Okay, all right, and then to learn to not see that, it's very difficult. Okay, all right. So anyway, by the way, they would say you were born with slight creases on your eye, which make you think that this white porcelain sink has hairs in it. That's how they say it in Madhyamika. You were born with little scratches on your eye ball that make you think your wife didn't clean the sink after she brushed her hair. That's how they say it in Madhyamika. You see little hairs, which are really lines in your eyeball. Okay. So the equipment is faulty. I think he's hitting on this point. Soke Wambo, okay? So the sense consciousnesses, the ones which should be correct, they don't have opinions. They're just supposed to see blue, okay? Like, it's easy to imagine that your opinion of things is wrong, but your perception of blue is wrong? It doesn't think. It doesn't make decisions. It doesn't have opinions. Yes, but it has a wrong opinion of the universe. The perception of this nice blue shirt, or whatever it is. It is a nice blue shirt. I think Mooncake's gonna like it. Shenyang.
She goes to 8:45. She's got.
Okay.
You got plenty of time.
Soke Wambo Shepala. Sung Da Sok Nang Tzu. The way. Yeah, just basic stuff. Colors, sounds. The way they appear to you, they don't exist that way. And so here Nangwa is to appear to the senses, right? It's not the aspect that the mind is taking on. Why? Because Dengor, to the sense awarenesses of a non-Arya, deceptive objects don't exist the way they appear, okay? Which is kind of the definition of a deceptive object. Yeah, it's not the way it looks. It's not the way it looks. You know, like in DC, I have this example nowadays where the wife walks in the bedroom, the husband's looking at his phone, and then he's got a big stupid smile on his face. And then when the wife comes in, he hides the phone. And she says, "What are you doing?" And he says, "Nothing." And then she gets suspicious. She gets jealous, which has happened to all of us. I don't know if you have a partner. And maybe not so bad. And then that night while he's asleep, she gets up and checks his phone to see what's the girlfriend's name. And because she has an image of the girlfriend in her mind. She already, she's blonde, she's got big chest, and then she already has a picture of the girlfriend in her mind, which is what jealousy is all about. She already has a picture of the other woman in her mind. And then she wakes up, she sneaks over to his side of the bed, she sneaks his phone off the thing, she goes in the toilet so that, because the thing lights up when you touch it nowadays. And she sees that he was ordering her a birthday present on Amazon. And then what happens to the girlfriend picture? That, yeah, it goes, and it just disappears. And that's the amount of reality that things have to your sense organs. The blue, the orange, the pink that you're seeing has that much reality. This is the blonde with the big chest. Okay. It has that much reality. Okay. Because you feel like it's coming this way. That's all. It is pink liquid. That's not fake. That's true. But it feels so strongly as though it's coming this way. And not from making drinks for my lama. Okay?
So the two ways of translating nang like are almost are right and wrong view.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's a subtle statement. Okay, we okay with that? Things don't exist the way they appear. There tell? Stop there. And this is a point we've had in other people's texts. And I'll do it for you because we don't have that much time. We wasted some time. Rangyupe Lukla, in this lower Madhyamika, Namatar Drupe Kunzop, yeah. There do exist deceptive objects which do exist the way they appear. Okay, they draw a distinction. You know, if you thought this was mango, what do you call it, guava juice?
Yeah.
And it was guava juice, then that's called correct deceptive.
Okay.
And then if you thought it was guava juice but it turned out to be watermelon juice, that's called incorrect deceptive. Is it? Yeah. We think it is, but we're not even so clear about his text so far to know. But I think it is. Yeah. Rangipe lukla nawata de dupe kunzo yupe. Therefore, they accept in this school the concept of a good deceptive, of a correct deceptive. Okay? Kyang, but, Tiangyu and come, how are you going to pronounce these two? Come dear. Okay, what's it say? It's easy. After the but. Good. Now use the verb mepa. In this school, there doesn't exist, and then go backwards. An example of deceptive reality which exists the way it appears. Okay? No such thing as correct deceptive and incorrect deceptive. Okay? Therefore, they don't even accept the idea, Miché, the idea of a correct deceptive.
So do Chuni Lama and Gilsub J have a problem? Isn't that just what you...
I want to see what my text
Yeah, we'll see. We'll do
I also want to see what your text says. I'm waiting to see if it happens.
Because I was surprised that he seemed to say that.
Yeah, I know. It's like,
Okay.
Yeah, extremely useful statement because he sort of defines deception. He sort of defines deception, which is?
Something that appears to be one way but really is another?
Yeah. The way it appears is one way, and the way it really is a different thing. So if you accept that that's the definition of deception, say the prasangika, to the lower middle way, then I don't see how you can talk about a correct deception. Okay, because there's supposed to be a discrepancy. And that's how we're translating Ninang. And we're not saying duality, okay? Which is one of those words that sounds cool and has no meaning. All right. Yeah, and that is the case because those higher middle way people take the position Shepa that if something is that, then by the way, if something is kunzop, okay, so the day is kunzop, okay. If and doesn't make any sense here, okay.
Right.
But again, that's a feeling you can only develop after many years of translating. Okay, and because you will struggle with the no for weeks, and then you'll suddenly realize it was a misspelling. Okay.
Oh, your clue, right, is that you're in a
Well, no is a conclusion.
I know.
Yeah.
You just
So
said
yeah.
It is so, then you're gonna.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
You
It
wouldn't
doesn't
have
make
a
any
cheer
sense.
after.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So anyway, if something is kunzo, then although it appears to exist in truth, it exists not in truth. Okay. There's a discrepancy. It appears to exist really, meaning from its own side or in and of itself. Like fire appears to be hot from something inside of it. But the way it really is, netsu, is that it's not hot by itself. It's hot because you hurt somebody in the past. Okay. And fire doesn't have to be hot. And people can pick up fire. Okay. Okay. All right. Do we have time? Are we okay?
Yeah.
Oh,
What
no,
time we have to go?
No, we just hit time.
I will really want to finish this
We
sentence.
started 10 minutes late.
And I propose we make the picture late. Is it picture time?
Yeah.
In today's picture time, but I don't think it's right now. It'll be after the next class. At the
Okay.
end of the next
Let's do this sentence. I'm just going to read the sentence, okay? Dine chewe, because this is such an important point, it deserves more explanation. So gupa, I'm going to translate as deserves. Or it would require more explanation. Or it deserves more explanation. But, mongtutok, a very common expression. I worry that my book would get too long. Mongtutok. So I fear that my book would get too long. Tokpa normally means an ungrounded suspicion. I had a tokpa that my husband had a girlfriend, but then it blew away. So tokpa normally means unfounded suspicion. But in philosophy, it means I fear that my book would become too long. Soke she dunawatama dubche de gacha gotoshin to tawe. So how it is that we cancel the gakcha, that we deny the gakcha, the way in which we deny the gakcha is very subtle, extremely subtle. When we say that for a non-Arya, the thing they are perceiving, okay, the thing they are perceiving does not exist the way it appears. Okay, so use perceiving for she. So how we cancel the gakcha when we say what normal people think they see is not there, that when we do that, that's a very subtle point. Why is it subtle? People will go too far. People will say then it doesn't exist. Okay, that's why it's subtle. They will go too far. Rangchak tabe lo kok to chukawe ne ni yente shipcha jegasa. Rangchak tabe. Now people like me. Poor little me. We say in English, poor little me. I'm so stupid. Okay? Rangchak tabu, lo kok to chukawa. Who could fit it into this tiny brain of mine? This is too big to fit in this tiny brain of mine. Kok means the inside of the brain. The hollow part in the skull. Oh, it's too big to fit into a little tiny brain like mine. Therefore, this is something that all you guys should try to thresh out. Thresh out? Further. Thresh out. You guys got to work on it and try to do better than I did because my brain's too small. Because this is a really difficult point. When you say that things don't exist the way they look to a non-Aryan.
What's chit?
Sorry?
Cook the chit.
Oh, fit in.
Fit. Okay, fit in the quote.
Yeah,
of the
chip
law.
means to fit into a cup, for example.
And then ship.
Little parts.
Oh,
details.
you better break it down into littler parts. You know, shipchan J, J.
Do it.
You gotta break it down into more finer detail.
Bite-sized parts.
Break it down into more detail, yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
Cool. It's a very cute statement. I like that. Kind of gives flavor to Chunin Lama's books. He'll say stuff like that. You know, who am I? I don't get this stuff, but hopefully you guys can figure it out later. Let me know what you come up with. Send me a letter.
Is it good? Just relating to like there is a need for you guys to do that?
Yeah. There's a. Yeah. Okay. Tuki Jushin Tom Riva Binshin Yende Gempali Sange Shindu Mite Uwargi Joku Namda Shinla Chupasho Iranguru Rana Mandala Kandeya Tayami Di Kewokun Sunam Yeshe Tsozo Shing Sunam Yeshe Lechungwe Dampa Kuni Tobarsho Shmogity Dogity.
Don't mind if I do.
Thank you. Oh, yeah, so I'm going to date it today, okay?
How I created the card will give me
Who's up next?
Toki. I don't know.
Allison.